Hello folks, so today we're going to be doing a quick demo of the RH task backup procedure using OpenShift API for data protection. So one of the prerequisites for this is having a running instance of tasks, of course. It's probably best to have a signature within the logs just ready, just to have something to test the procedure with. So I have one present in the log, just one, and we're going to create the DPA, the data protection application API. So referring to the docs that we'll hopefully provide a link for with this demo, we're going to be removing the Valero sample and just replacing it with Valero. We're going to be changing the uploader type from Restic to Copia or Copia. I'm not sure how that's pronounced. Moving on then, the default plugins, we need to add the CSI plugin. This will allow us to move the actual data of the persistent volumes to our cloud storage, which we'll be going kind of over a little bit later. Oh yeah, we need to make sure to add the resource timeout, so just so we have the resource timeout. Okay, perfect. Right, there's the CSI plugin. Now I need to go down and just change some of the configurations for the snapshot locations, just to make sure that snapshot locations will be in the same availability zone as our storage. And in this instance, our storage is in US East 1. If I am remembering right, so I'm just checking outside the tab here. Okay, perfect. And our provider is AWS. There is support for GCP, Azure, and some other types of cloud provider, which I'm not sure off the top of my head right now. So we're going to just change the bucket name to the one that we're using, which I believe, let me check my files again, which is RH task backup, I believe. Sorry, I'm still just kind of skimming for it. There we go. Okay. Fantastic. And our prefix is going to just be operator backup. We're also just going to change the reference to the secret, our cloud credentials to cloud-AWS credentials soon, just because I uploaded them separately as that name. The default is cloud credentials, but just for the sake of this demonstration, it will be cloud AWS. They were uploaded to this namespace prior to the recording, just to have them ready to go. Though the process of uploading these AWS secrets are included in our docs too. Okay, so with that created, we should hopefully have the opportunity to check that things are starting to spin up. So we'll check the namespace. Fantastic, pods are coming up. So that will take a few moments, and things are starting to look good. So once Valero is started, and we'll have a quick look at the logs, we will go ahead and configure our volume snapshot class with a label so that Valero can find it and perform our backup. Okay, logs look healthy. I mean, didn't see anything sticking out. Should be fine. Okay, now we'll just add the label quickly. Just to harp on about it, all these steps are covered within our docs. So we'll add the label. Here we are. Perfect. Now we can go ahead and create a backup resource. So it's worth noting two major namespaces are related to the backup. In this instance, we have the task operator namespace where I have the actual stack running, and then there's the trusted artifact signer namespace, which just is where the CLI tools are being served. We're just going to have the backup include both of those namespaces, so we'll see that now in a moment once I get to the tab. Just want to check the pods quickly. Okay, let's go ahead and create the backup. So we have just previous backups from other tests I've done in the past, just so that it's a good see that they're there, pulls them in from your cloud storage so you can use them in later restores if you'd like. So we're just going to rename this to backup demonstration and create the storage location to be Valera 1 and not Valera sample, just to mirror the naming we used earlier on, and that should be good. So this particular backup resource is just going to include all resources within the namespaces provided. So this will take a little bit of time. For the sake of demonstration, I'm going to just do brief edits of these just to ensure that it's a speedy demonstration. So it may take a bit longer in reality. Okay, just waiting for the plugin. There we are, finalized, fantastic. So that is our backup completed. And what we're going to go ahead and do now is we're going to go ahead and remove said namespace, the task operator namespace, and perform a restore of our backup here. Just to show restoring from a full, or restoring from their namespace not being there. It's also also best practice to install into an empty namespace just to avoid overwriting things or things getting congested or clogged with overwriting things. But the default configuration provided in our docs is that the backup will overwrite things in favor of the backed up resources. So that's something worth keeping note of. So this will just terminate briefly, take a few moments, and then we'll go ahead and run the restore. But before we run the restore, an important step is we need to scale down the task operator's deployment node or deployment, or scale down the deployment so that we can ensure that that there's no conflicts in trying to create new resources. These steps, once again, covered in our documentation that we'll provide. Okay, so we're going to scale it back up now that it's waiting for the plugin operations. That means it's probably waiting to download the PVs, but it needs the PVs to be requested. So just swap between, make sure there's nothing in here. Pods are coming up, or should be coming up soon. But it's more than likely performing the data downloads. There we are. It's now downloading the PVs that we backed up, and all the pods are coming up. And what's happening now is that the related pods, Trillion and Recore, are claiming the persistent volumes that we backed up from earlier. So they're all backed up, or not backed up, they're all restored properly, which is fantastic. And pods are coming up, and I'll go ahead and show the Recore log again just to show that the same signature is present. So check number 0 again, so just refresh for the sake of showing that we're back up again. So check 1, we don't have a log for 1. We do have a log for 0, which is all we had was the 0 log. What we're going to do is we're going to just do a quick sign and verify off screen for the sake of just showing we can still add new entries to the log and still have the older entries. Okay, send and verified again, so we're going to just check the log index just for the second entry, or entry 1 or index 1. Okie dokie, and there we are. So that is the demonstration. Thanks for watching, folks.